Yeah, time to get started on this brake job on the 39 Ford Coupe. We're going to put a little more modern brakes on there. So the first order of business is to get all that chrome spider off of there and get the wheel off and see what we're up against. We get a jack under it, get it jacked up, get a jack stand in there, and get to work. So the first order of business is to take these spiders off. They're nice, but you gotta carry around this little Allen wrench with you if you ever get a flat. There's that. Looks like they need cleaned up a little bit anyway. Well, there you go. Now you want to make sure you put the little screws on the ground so you kick them with your feet and knock them all over the place and can't find them later. So what you have is this plate that's held on there with the lug nuts and the spider screws to that. We'll get our gun and see if we can get those wheel nuts off of there. Yeah, we bought this Spiffy Diffy double throw me down impact gun. We'll see if it works. Oh man, look at that. Yeah, you put the lug nuts with the screws so they all get kicked in the same place. Like butter. There you go. One wheel off. The next step is going to be to pull this dust cap off and undo the bearing retaining nut and the cotter pin and get the drum off there. Now we get our favorite pair of pliers. My dad used to call them water pump pliers. I don't know why. I guess we call them channel locks these days. Oh man, look at that. I don't know if that's gonna come off of there. Maybe it unscrews. It's got a hex on it. Yeah, it does. See there? Okay. Sometimes you don't know what you don't know. There you go. Now we have a cotter pin. Let's straighten it out. pull it out. If we can get a hold of it here. Doesn't look like it wants to be got a hold of yet. They got the ends cleaned up here a little bit. There we go. There we go. Now we got the big nut. Our metric pliers. Boy, that puppy is tight. Ugh. Normally, I say normally, that wouldn't be all that tight. You generally want to run them up and preload the bearing and then back them off just a skosh. But you know, this is old technology stuff, so maybe it's different. Work that back. Well, the washer has a little tang in it that fits in a groove there, keep it from turning. Look at our bearing out here. Probably time to repack them anyway from the looks of it. And see if we can work our drum and hub off here. And there you go. And boy, that's kind of crappy looking in there. And here you have old style brakes. You have the wheel cylinder up here, two pivot points down here, and just a couple of clips and a spring. And what happens when you put on the brakes, these pins come out here and push these shoes out, you know, here and here against the drum, and they pivot down here. So unless you have the shoes fitted to the drums and adjusted just right, the brakes don't work very well. So we're going to replace that with a new style stuff, and we've got to get in here and take these 4 bolts off of here that hold the backing plate on and disconnect the brake line and get that off of there and start putting new stuff back together. So we'll get after it. Okay, we got to get under the car here and get this backing plate off. And this is your spindle here. You got 4 bolts. You got 2 here and 2 on the back side. You got to get them off. That's what holds the backing plate to the spindle. We're also going to have to get up here, disconnect the brake hose from the wheel cylinder, and then the brake hose runs over there to a mounting bracket and connects to a steel brake line. And I think it's probably time to replace this brake hose as well. Don't know how old that is. We'll we get everything else off, we'll have a look at that. It might pay to loosen this first. This brake hose screws into the wheel cylinder, so there's a copper washer, sealing washer in between the two. While the whole thing is connected, it's going to be a lot easier to break that hose loose, so that when you finally do get everything apart, you're not fighting trying to get it off of there. But we'll go ahead and get these 2 nuts off, and then turn the steering wheel, get the 2 on the back side, and get that backing plate off. Alright, this is what you're left with once you get that backing plate off. Just a plain spindle. You want to clean this surface up real good if there's any rust or grime or grit or anything on there, so that your new backing plate fits flush on there. We cheated and unscrewed the brake hose out of the wheel cylinder. Don't recommend that because it's a royal pain, but we got it apart. I did not notice a washer unless it fell off in the process and the ground ate it, which happens, but I did not notice a sealing washer between this surface and the wheel cylinder, and I think you got to have that. Now, somebody somewhere along the line put these juice brakes on this 39. They're obviously 1940 style juice brakes, so it's hard to say who did what to who. One of the things we've got to look at with the new backing plates is there may be some interference right here, and we may have to grind a bit of that away so that new backing plate sits flush on there. We'll have a look at that in a minute.